Hey everyone, this is 3 Men 1 Review. I'm Billy.
I'm James.
I'm Christian.
Today we're reviewing The Conjuring 2. James Wan returns to direct the sequel to the hit horror movie The Conjuring. This movie again stars Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as Ed and Loraine Warren. This time they are also looking at another one of the Warrens' professional cases during their careers. This one takes them to North London, where they investigate a family who's being tormented by demonic spirits. What's your initial reaction, Billy?
I thought it was good. I didn't. There's no big complaints I got for it, but overall it was very good.
Christian?
I thought it was good. Probably one of the best horror movies that's come out since the last Conjuring. Right up there with movies like The Witch and It Follows.
I agree. I thought it was pretty good too. Probably not as good as The Witch, but pretty good. Second best one we've had so far. What's your general complaints / praises, Billy?
I didn't have many complaints, but the one I had was early in the movie they set up Patrick Wilson's character Ed Warren is going to die, and he didn't die at the end of the movie, and I thought he should have because I set it up. And I know he didn't die in real life, but I still feel like he should have died in the movie. And praises, I thought the acting was good. I thought all the characters were believable. It was just entertaining all throughout.
Christian?
Points I had, the pacing was a little bit off. During the movie, it started really fast, kind of got slow. The first one really did a good job of building up the haunted house and the possession.
See, I like how it started fast. Because, like, we were just drawn in from the get-go.
Get you hooked.
Yeah. And it needs some small parts, because every point can't be like, here's the big part, then here's the even bigger part, then a bigger part, then a bigger part. We need something in between it, because when everything's big, then it feels...
Like the beginning, it was really fast.
I feel you, but...
Like the Amityville horror scene, but the praises, I thought the characters were all great. They were well developed, and you actually care about them the whole movie, as opposed to other horror movies these days.
True.
The acting was great. I really liked Ed and Loraine, the couple, and their bond.
My complaints, nitpicks really. There wasn't really much to complain about. One or two cheesy lines, not a big deal. I thought the story was, I guess, a little over the top, a little too complex. The first one, it was much simpler story, and I think they were able to generate some better scares off of that. But again, that's just a nitpick. My praises, excellent acting, like you guys said, especially Patrick Wilson. I think him and James Wan work great together. They've made a few good movies now. And the scary scenes, the frightening scenes, they were really good, really intense. Actual horror, not cheap scares, not jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, there were jump scares, but they didn't feel like it was like,
It wasn't cheap. That's the thing. The scenes lingered, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, bam, and it's gone, okay, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
They lingered, and you almost wanted to look away at sometimes.
It had an emotional impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, which one do you think was better, Billy? The first Conjuring or the second?
I think I like the second a little bit more.
Okay. Christian?
I like the first one, but I think this one felt a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think this one was more intense, but I think the first one was written better, so I say the first one's better. What do you think about the Amityville horror opening compared to the Anabelle opening scene from the first movie, Billy? Which was done better? Which was scarier?
I liked the Amityville horror scene. I liked how, like, she was sort of, like, she was in the place of the killer. And I thought, when I saw the scene, it sucked me into the movie. Like, I felt for her character. In the Anabelle scene, for me, I didn't really feel much for it. Like, it didn't seem like we were, like, really drawn into these characters. It just seemed sort of scary.
Christian?
I actually like the Anabelle scene better. I guess during the Amityville horror scene, which I really liked how they kind of did a callback to that movie in that case. But I thought that scene was great, but I still like the Anabelle scene a little bit more, because when I first saw The Conjuring, that scene really drew me in. It had a big impact.
I agree with you. I think the Anabelle scene was done better. It was scarier. I do love how they used the Amityville horror scene as the intro, but the Anabelle scene was much scarier to me. And I'm a disagree with you, Billy. I did not like how they used her in place of the actual killer. I thought it'd been much scary to watch the actual scenes play out.
Yeah, I didn't understand it either.
Well, did you ever doubt that what was happening in the house was real, Billy? Did you think the family was ever faking it at one point?
I didn't feel that they were faking it. That scene where the doctor lady was like, "Oh, look, she's faking it." She had the videotape. I thought, like, maybe like the demon possessed her and was making her do this, or as it turned out, the demon had told her to do it.
Yes.
So I didn't think that they were faking at any point.
Christian?
In the movie.
I'm with Billy. I thought, like, if she was doing all that, maybe the demon was forcing her to do it. I didn't think she was faking at any point in the movie.
There were slight moments where I thought they were maybe faking, but I was never 100%. Oh, this is fake. It was mostly, this is really happening. The biggest thing that made me think the other way, though, was when they found, after the mom gets bit in the basement, he found the teeth at the bottom of the thing. I was like, okay, that's strange.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she is faking. But
No, but it was the tooth that was missing in the
Was the
bite.
dentures of the older man?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
remember there was a tooth missing in the... Yeah, that was the... But, yeah.
Okay.
Well, what were you thinking when they had actually caught her faking it on the camera, Billy?
I thought... Well,
You kind of already
yeah,
touched on it.
I
but
just said, like, I thought, like, the demon was doing something with her.
Christian?
The next thing I thought was how Ed and Loraine are going to come back to the house because I knew they were going to leave. So I just kept thinking, how are they going to get back there? Because I knew it wasn't fake. And I knew it was kind of... I just felt that lady, that character that doubted everything, I didn't feel like she had a big impact on the story. I felt like she was kind of thrown in there.
I can agree with that, but I feel like she gave, like, a nice, like, ground, like
Dynamic.
not everybody, like, here just flat out believes, like, oh, hey, it's a ghost. Hey, everybody, we all believe in ghosts, because there's always going to be some skeptics. So
Yeah.
I do agree that if she felt a little bit unnecessary, but I do see the reason she was in the movie.
I agree. I hated that lady, just poking holes in everything. But I knew there wasn't. That couldn't be all there is to it. I was just, when it happened, I was like, okay, how are they going to explain to them to get back there? How are they going to come to a resolution? That's all my thoughts. Did you ever think Ed Warren was going to die during this film, Bill?
I didn't think he was going to die, but I think that he should have, because, as I said earlier, they set it up, and they didn't follow through with it. Now, I liked his character, and I didn't want him to die. Like, emotionally, I didn't want him to die, but story-wise, like, structurally, I thought he should have died, even if the person didn't die in real life.
Christian?
I thought I didn't know what to think, because when he was hanging by the window, I thought he could have died, but I know that the real Loraine Warren works on set with them. I don't think she would have allowed that in the movie. So I kind of just figured he wouldn't.
Yeah, since it was based on a true story, I didn't think they'd go that far and completely contradict what actually happened in real life. So I never thought he was going to die. And they probably want to leave it open for another Conjuring. They don't want to kill off his character just now. They want to use another case file. Well, what was your thoughts on the fact that the mother actually died in real life in the same place, the same chair as Bill did in real life?
I have 4 words, too spooky for me.
Christian?
I thought it was really creepy.
So 3 spooky, 5 for
Yeah.
me.
I thought it was really creepy.
Yeah,
I like that they included that in the movie, too.
Yeah, that was awesome. I would kind of like to visit that house if I ever went to London.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd get a good scare. Well, what was your favorite, or I guess in this case, what was the scariest scene in the movie to you, Bill?
The scariest, probably like the one where the old man was behind her in the chair, or when he was in the water, or now creepiest, I'd say like when we're first introduced to the crooked man, like when we see like the dog morphing into it. I thought it was pretty
Yeah, I thought
creepy.
that was really
Like I wasn't
strange.
scared, but like I was like, oh, that's creepy. But I think my favorite scene is like in the beginning when the Warrens are on TV and people are like, "Oh, this is an obvious hoax." I thought that like added like a really like nice dynamic to like how people viewed them and like how like everyone's not just like, "Yeah, of course it's a ghost," because there's always going to be skeptics.
Right.
I like the. I thought one of the scariest scenes was he opened the little hatch and the girl was just in the. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Covered or
scary.
whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot
And
about
probably
that.
my favorite scene was really the last act when he was breaking into the house,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought
It was very
intense.
emotional.
Yeah.
My favorite scene, or I guess the scariest scene, is when she finds herself downstairs, a little girl who's getting possessed, and she hears the old man, the Bill guy, in there, and then she runs upstairs, puts the chair under the door to lock it, gets under the covers. I was terrified what was going to happen, and
The
then
chair moved.
the chair's right
Oh,
next to
yeah.
her. Then she wakes up and starts screaming, right? And then her sister wakes up, and that's when the bed levitates, or the bed shakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the turning point. That's when we knew this guy was dangerous, and I thought they did really well.
Oh,
I didn't want to see what was going
I
on.
also thought that when Ed Warren was looking in the tent and the crooked man like did the jump scare thing. I thought that was really scary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's your overall rating out of 5 stars, Bill?
Normally I would give it 3.5 just as like a normal movie, but relative to the horror genre, I'll give it a 4 because like I feel like judging like it like relative to like a great drama like Casablanca or whatever, I feel like that's unfair. So relative to the horror genre, I give it a 4.
Christian?
I give it a 4. Like Billy said, the horror genre these days, they make more bad movies than good ones. But it was a little cheesy at parts, but I still think it did a really good job of storytelling and with the true case and whatnot.
It's definitely one of the better horror movies come out, probably in the last 5 years, maybe even 10.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to give it 4. I just feel like there was some
Something
problems. Something was off. It wasn't as good as the first Conjuring, so I'm going to have to give it 3.5. That's going to make our official rating 3.75 stars for this film. Last question. Is James Wan the best horror director of our decade, Bill?
I think he's good. I'm not really familiar with a lot of his other work besides Saw and the other Conjuring movie, but I think that every horror movie I've seen from him has been good, so I like him.
Christian?
I think he is. I mean, he actually cares. He's not just putting out horror movies for money like a lot of directors do these days. He knows like what scares people.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the audience. He knows how to scare them. He doesn't rely on like the cheap jump scares and the cliches. I mean, he uses cliches.
He
but
uses
does them
them, but
effectively.
like he uses it effectively. Like,
Yeah.
he has a build.
You can understand. He has a passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think without question, he's definitely the best horror director of our decade. He's one of the few horror movie makers who actually makes a movie. So many movies are handheld camera.
It's ridiculous.
I hate that.
Those are the
Jump
worst.
scares. Terrible. And he actually makes a movie. And that's what I want to see, a movie. And he's given us a lot of good movies. Saw, and the first Conjuring, Insidious. So, yeah, I think he's the best. I think he'll stay the best for a while.
Yeah.
This is 3 Men 1 Review. Thank you for watching.